We are here again with Paula Pulenta at beautiful Vistalba Winery. Paula's family has been in the wine industry for almost 130 years,
100 years.
20 years.
At least, yes.
And your family started, which is the Peñaflor brand, which is now possibly one of the five largest wineries in the world.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Our history begins in 1901 when my father's granddad and grandma came from Italy. So they started working in the vineyards here in Mendoza. And in the year 1913, they founded Peñaflor, which, as you said, is one of the biggest wineries here in Argentina. And they managed the company for almost 83 years. So that was a big history, one of the most important part of our, history in the wine industry. We sold the company. The family decided to sell the company in 1997. The family was huge, was very, very big. My father were 30 cousins, so you can imagine that it was a very big family. The business, the Peñaflor business was very successful, and we wanted to keep both successful, the family and the vineyards, and the winery. So we thought the best solution was to sell the company. So after 83 years managing the company, Peñaflor and Trapiche, the whole business was sold.
And then your father, Carlos, and you started...
Well, after Peñaflor, when we sold the company, my father was hired by a Dutchman that came from Holland, and he wanted to build a winery, but he didn't know nothing about wineries. So, because he came from the car industry, so he asked my dad to build a company for him. So my dad was in charge of building and managing Bodega Salentine for almost 8 or 9 years. So when that was, when the company was already, well managed and selling the wines, not only in Argentina, but also outside Argentina. We used to have this vineyard where we are now, which is in Vistalba, but we didn't have any winery, so we just sold our grapes. So that's when my dad decided to build his own winery, and we started in the year 2001, and that's when I joined him. So Vistalba Winery was founded in the year 2003, when we were able, to produce our first wines here in Vistalba.
And just last year, your father and you started your first organic wine.
Well, 2021 was our first vintage for the organic. We've been always producing conventional wines, and our first organic was produced in 2021. Yeah, we decided that we've been always managing the wines, even though we produce most of our wines in a conventional way. We've been always very working towards sustainability, because we think it's one of the most important things. So even though we don't have the certificate as organic in all of our wines, all of the production and vinification and the vineyards are all managed in a sustainable way. But we only have one organic wine. We felt we have to have in our portfolio 100% organic wine. That's why we decided 2021 was the best. Yeah, under the name of Tomato. We have different collections of wines. Vistalba wines, which are produced with grapes from Vistalba, and Tomato, that are mostly grapes from Uco Valley, except the organic, which is 100% Malbec, with grapes that we bring from Agrelo, which is Luján.
What are which details can you share on how you guys make your organic wine? Once the grapes are here, then what happens?
Well, you need to be very careful when managing the grapes. So what we first do is we choose, because the grapes are being fermented in the concrete tanks. We have both concrete and stainless steel, but we use concrete tanks for this organic wine. So we firstly choose the tank where we are going to ferment, because we need to be very careful, and we need to take a lot of careful when managing all when we clean the concrete, the tank where we're going to produce it. So after we choose it, then we keep it all the time in the same one, of course, and managing very carefully. We use the natural yeast from the grapes. We don't use additional yeast to ferment these grapes. So the natural yeast that comes in the same grapes are the ones that produce the fermentation. And then in this case, we have we thought it was better to keep the wine not to age the wine in oak. Mm-hmm. Most of our conventional wines are aged in oak, but we thought that the organic, we wanted to keep to try to show all the more carefully weigh the characteristics of the region where the grapes are coming from. So we thought that maybe the oak in this kind of wine was maybe not necessary. So what we obtained was a wine that is really, really fruity, and that shows really the as I said, the main characteristics of the region where the grapes are coming from.
In other interviews, I was told by winemakers that wines without oak are wines without makeup. That you that you get the real flavor.
Natural, yes. Well, yeah, I think that it depends on how you use the oak. I think that's the secret. I mean, all of our wines, as I said, have a little of oak, but well, I think that through the years, there have been different ways of using oak. Of course, it depends on how much oak you want to use, and each winery and each winemaker will choose how to use the oak. Mm-hmm. There are lots of different ways to use it. I mean, when you buy a barrel, the first year that you use that barrel will give you a lot of oak. So if you use only 100% new oak for a wine, you will have, of course, a very oaky wine. But you can decide how to use the oak, and you have like different formats, large, 225 or 500, or we have also 3,000 liters capacity for the food, which is also French oak. So that gives you the possibility of obtaining wines not too oaky, and giving that. I mean, it has to be balanced, the oak. I think that is the secret.
Before we started recording, you were telling me about how you handle the acidity in organic wines.
Yes.
and how that's important to make sure that wines don't go bad fast and things like that.
Yeah, acidity is one of the main challenges when producing organic wines. You need to be very, very careful with the manage of the acidity in order to obtain, very fresh wines and very fruity, and and to be able to age the wines without any problem, and to be sure that it will be okay.
And so then you don't need to add sulfites.
No, nothing. Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, okay. I want to show our viewers your Calicata.
Oh yes.
And
yes.
to tell me about it.
Yeah, of course.
I think we cut here and then we continue there.
Okay, great, fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.